Much aloha to everybody out there. I'm going to try to do this just on my computer. Bear with me. What we're going to go over today, a lot of people's mistake is they operating off of fear, because it's a fearful thing to be arrested. And what we're going to go over is mainly how to handle yourself a little bit maybe better from the eye of somebody who's been through this and knows what's going on. So I'm going to give you that type of experience that the Holy Elohim has blessed me with to share with you. A lot of times we go through some hard times, and let me go ahead and go over this. A lot of times we go through real hard times. We're like, oh Lord, why you? Because when we're down, the word comes to us when we're in the wilderness. All right. When we're down, that's when the Holy Spirit is with us the most. So we need to be paying attention to the lessons, because a lot of times we're going to be there maybe to learn something so that we can share and teach others. And I hope this blesses you greatly. So let's say you get they're coming after you. They're going to have a warrant. All right, they're letting you know we're going to get you, boy. All right, so they pick you up. Let's say they even got your ID. All right, but most of the time I do not carry an ID, especially if I know they're coming after me. Man, why would I identify myself with a vessel? All right, nope, I don't have an ID. Why would I need an ID? No, sorry. And now what they're going to do is they're going to bring you, whether it's a federal or whether it's a state, they're going to bring you into the county, parish, and they're going to try to get you to volunteer to be in the prison. Everybody says, well, you got to volunteer to be in a prison. You got to volunteer. Oh yeah, well, you are going to volunteer, because they're going to ask you what your name is, and what your stupid butt going to say. Oh, my name is so and so. No, why don't do it. Just say no. All right. And what are we working off of here? Why is it that you do not have to say anything? Okay, number one reason is the Miranda. All right, Fifth Amendment right. Miranda, Arizona, 1966. Now this is something I sent to one of the members of the Night Sovereign. Didn't have any arms, and they were jacking with them hard. And they end up stripping them naked. I end up bringing a PREA charge against the prison officials, and then the church sent in documents to be given to his attorney of acceptance. Hey, I accept. I want to pay for this. Because if you accept or you acknowledge, and I know he says you want to acknowledge, but there's certain words in the presentment. I like to do both. I like to say acceptance, and so that's my deal. So I'm going to go over that with you why. And if they do not accept your acceptance and they try to railroad you, which they did me, when I went in, I said, hey, they brought me into the feds over here. They told me they had a parish warrant. Next thing you know, I stayed for 3 days, wasn't able to call anybody, and I was stupid enough to put the suit on though. And they put the suit up. They didn't even ask me to. They just put it up at the deal. And of course, I'm naive. I was stupid. I didn't know. I knew a lot about a lot of things, but I didn't know a lot of this. I knew a lot of in-bar stuff, which once you find out this place ain't a court, I didn't realize this wasn't a court. Everybody was telling me this was Article 1, pretending it was Article 3. Well, this ain't Article nothing, okay? This is a straight-up bank. So that is a number one killer. That's what got me, was thinking these people were actually police officers. And they put the little suit up at the cage. If I would have refused to put that on, I'd have been going home that afternoon. But my stupid butt put it on. And because they didn't even have a warrant for me, and they're not going to have a warrant for you. What they're going to have is a writ of attachment. And because they don't have a lawful right to have a warrant, because a warrant under Rule 44, you want to look that up, only judges of a court of record can write a warrant. And in order to be a court of record, they have to be a political subdivision. They have to be tax exempt. And when like if you watch my film from the last time, when you get their tax determination letter for filing, you get their W-9 and or their identification, you file a 4506A. That determination letter is going to come back that they're not tax exempt, so they're certainly not a court of record, so they have no ability to write a warrant. So what are they doing? They're doing a writ of attainment, and this is a bank. All right. So when you go up in there, they have kidnapped you. These are not police officers. These are not sheriff. I don't know about the other states, but you know, it's equal protection uniformity clause under Louisiana. In order to be a sheriff or police officer, you must be a peace officer. All right. And in order, the definition, they got it separated like that so they can keep it confused. But another statute says in order to be a peace officer, you must work for a political subdivision. Political subdivision, if you Google IRS government information letter, it'll pop up a page, read the 5th paragraph, and it's going to say that they must, M-U-S-T, have a government information letter from the IRS to be an instrumentality of government. So they're not an instrumentality of nothing. These are private, claiming to be private officers. Now, private officers are supposed to bring you before a magistrate right off the bat, but there aren't no magistrates. If you call up, you know, the Supreme Court, or ones that are here for Louisiana, they call it the Supreme Court. They're not the Supreme Court. That's not even their real name neither. They're just doing business as. If you call them up, you're going to find out that the magistrates don't even have an oath of office. Only the so-called judges have them, and they're not judges neither. Sorry about the dog, but then you have to bear with me. All right, so what you're going to have to do is, one, they're going to bring you in there. They're going to ask you for your name. Don't, you know, I don't know if you ever seen Jason Bourne. Don't be whooping their butt like Jason Bourne, but you know how he just acted like he was almost catatonic. You know, he just looking down. He didn't even look at him. All right, so that's how you want to be. What does it say? The Supreme Court stated anything you say or do can and will be held against you in a court of law. So guess what? According to due process, you don't have to say or do anything. That is the 5th Amendment right. All right. Constitution. Okay, I'm going to cover this here in a minute when we go over the PREA rules. All right, so let's say they get mad at you. They're going to immediately put you into a into a holding cell, or probably, or they may try to force you to take a picture and ID, you know, fingerprints, but you just fight them. All right, or don't fight them like punch them, but you just resist. All right, you don't give them none of that. I don't care what they say, what they claim to do, or anything like that. So what you want to do is make sure that you don't give them that. All right, so let's say they bring you into the holding cell. They're going to try to force. Some people they've threatened. They'll bring in big old corn-fed fed boys to threaten you to put that suit on, because it's very important to them. They have to get that suit on in order to bring you before that magistrate. Let me tell you, if they don't get that suit on you, you probably won't even go before the magistrate. You'll probably be going home. So it's a very important thing. So they're going to come in and try to terrorize you to get that. So what are you going to say? All right, you're going to have to take my clothes, but when you're done, make sure that you call in the PREA coordinator so I can bring a PREA charge against you. All right, so let's see what PREA says about them being able to take your clothes. And of course, usually after they take your clothes, what do they want you to do? They want you to spread cheek, and then they're going to have one of the guards be able to just, you know, look at old brown eye. All right, what does PREA say about this? All right, this is the PREA Act. This is Public Law 108-79, September 4th, 2003. This is 117 Stat 972, and this is all part of, let's see what it is. It's the USC 42 USC 15601. All right, so and they're going to go into this. Most prison staff are not adequately trained or prepared to prevent, report, or treat inmate sexual assaults. Now that is a big deal, because they aren't. They're ignorant of this. That's why you want to be very cognizant of what the PREA states. Now they have PREA rape, and then they have PREA assaults. So this would be an assault, voyeurism. All right, voyeurism is a PREA charge. Them wanting to look at you strip off your clothes, well, guess what? That's voyeurism. All right, and we'll look at under definitions. This is section 10, definitions. And down here in definitions, we've got exclusions. Okay, the term and conditions described in paragraph 9 and 10 shall not apply to what? All right, now here in A, they try, now this again, this is legalese. Now understand, all of this, none of this is a law. All of this is copyrighted. Whenever you see something that says 42 USC like this, this is a copyrighted statute not from the legislature, who is the only ones who have the authority to create law. This is from Reuters Westlaw, which is a British-based multinational media company. Does it say that Reuters Westlaw, British-based multinational media company, has the right to write laws? No. So if they're using this junk, guess what? You're not in a court. You're in a British bank. All right, and they've got their bank rules. All right, and they're saying you're an employee of that bank in some way or another. And I will go into a good way to stop all charges, and that is, don't be the receiver of service under Rule 19. Resign being the receiver of service, remove your address, and appoint the Secretary of State, which is his duty to receive foreign organizations mail. All right, now when they bring you in, oh, I can't receive that ticket. Oh, I can't receive that warrant. I'm not the receiver for any organizations or state organizations. That would be improper service. Sorry, denied, thrown out. All right. And so let's read over this. All right, so all right, so bring in the PREA coordinator if you're going to force me. All right, go ahead and whip my butt. You steal my clothes and then bring in the PREA coordinator, because I'm putting a PREA rape charge on you, a sexual assault charge on you. You bunch of willy watching, cock gazing log lovers. All right, and they're going, oh, look at each other. I said, no, I'm serious. You bring in the PREA coordinator. You go ahead and take my clothes by force, but then I'm going to put a sexual assault charge on you. Now their eyes are gonna open up big, because they don't want to have no PREA charge on them. I've removed a couple people. One was a second lieutenant in a medium federal prison, because he stripped down me and two other guys to make us put on paper clothing in the same room. That was a big no. And this was the violation. I also removed another one because they would make us take off our uniforms once a week, and we'd have to we wouldn't have no clothes, and we'd have to wrap in a blanket. And then this one yahoo always wanted me to open up my blanket so he could see if there was any clothes. Well, I'm going to go over why he lost his job. And it doesn't even matter if they win, because just having a charge of a PREA on them, it makes the insurance, it never goes away. They will never move up in rank, and it makes it, the prison's insurance goes up. They have to let them go. Okay, so this is powerful what I'm teaching you here. And if they know you know this stuff, the warden's not going to want you in there. I don't care what. All right, because it's all about money for these guys. Okay, so exclusions. All right, so number one is, now I want you to remember this. This is A. It says custodial and medical personnel gathering physical evidence are engaged in other legitimate medical treatments in the course of an investigation, prison rape. All right, so that's when a custodial can assist. Did it say he gets to search you? No, it says medical treatment, legitimate medical treatment in the course of what? Investigating a prison rape. That's the only time a custodial personnel can take place in this. Now you see this little colon right there. Now it's B, so this is a whole different deal. The use of healthcare providers' hands and fingers. Does it say custodial healthcare? No. Custodial fingers? No. Or other to use our medical devices in the course of appropriate medical treatment, unrelated to prison rape. Okay, so those are the two. Now again, that's only healthcare providers. But let's say that is. All right. Now let's go down here to 3. C is a totally different deal. The use of healthcare providers' hands or fingers and the use of instruments to perform body cavity search in order to maintain security and safety within the prison or detention facility, provided that the search is conducted in a manner consistent with the constitutional requirements. Okay, so who gets to do cavity searches? Is it the Yahoo custodial? Oh, no. This is a totally separate deal. The healthcare provider. That's who has to do, and that is for maintaining security. Okay, so they don't get to look at you naked ever. a custodial doesn't ever get to look at you naked. Okay, and the BOP does this a lot, and they try to twist this, but it does not matter. You have the right to bring a charge against them, okay, a claim against them. Doesn't matter if they win or lose, they lose, okay, and you win. So always bring PREA charges right from the get-go, all right, against these yahoos. Okay, now also another thing it says right here, in the manner consistent with the Constitution. And what did we go over? What does the Constitution say about your right before you've even been brought before a magistrate? Fifth Amendment. Miranda versus Arizona. This has been held up more times than anything. Anything. The Supreme Court, anything you say or do can and will be held against you in a court of law, so you don't have to say or do anything, and that certainly just means giving up your clothes. Okay, so now those are the two things that you want to do right from the get-go. Now let's say you're going to go before that magistrate, or the next thing they're going to do is they're going to bring you before a bar. They're going to claim he's a bar attorney. All right, this is not an attorney. He is a bar broker. And he's going, oh, he's a used car salesman. Oh, you're in trouble. Oh, but I'm going to help you. Oh, have I got a deal for you? Oh, man. So what you're going to say, oh, you're going to help me. Okay. So according to the Rule 26, discovery to disclosure, general provisions governing disclosure, a party must withdraw, without waiting, a discovery request. So you don't have to put in a discovery request. Provide to other parties blank. Number one, the name. If they are not using their own true legal names, guess what? They got to give you the legal name, not the pseudonym. I don't want to hear. Oh, what is your real name, attorney? You a defense attorney? Oh, I'm John P. Slocum, and I'm here to represent you. Oh, no, I want your name, your legal name. That would be first, middle, and last. I don't want your pseudonym. I don't want you, I want your real name. Oh, I'm not giving you that. Oh, well, then you're not an attorney. And guess what? You're in violation of Rule 26. Okay? Now, you don't want to argue this in court. This is just to mess with them. This is to get him, because he's going to go back and tell them, okay, well, what kind of situation we got with this guy. He's going to go back and say, oh, hell, this guy's about to rip us a new one. And known the address and telephone number of each individual likely to have discoverable information, along with the subject of that information that is disclosing parties may use to support its claim or defense. Unless use would be solely for impeachment. Well, they're not even government officials working for the government, so it can't be impeachment. Did they disclose the name of the IRS agent that would reveal that they don't have a tax-exempt status? Did they disclose the name and telephone number of their CPA? No. All right, a copy or a description by category and location of all documents, electronically stored information, and tangible things that are disclosing to the party has in its possession, custody, or control, and may be used to support its claim or defense, unless use would be solely for impeachment. All right, did they give you the W-9 or the IRS government information letter, or their tax status, or the CPA's number? Did they tell you that they're pretending that you're in the military and this is a military court? Well, they got to go French flag. They go French flag. The name of it is called the National Colors. You're going to find that in the Army Regulations 840-10, Chapter 2. Look it up. It's going to tell you, anybody with a Go French flag, it's only military court generals, retired generals, schools, and barracks can have that. So it's got to be a military court they're pretending. Did they disclose that? Nope. So they just violated that too. If ever you've been convicted, they violated this. That's an appeal. Okay. An action review on administrative records. Now, this is the proceedings exempt from initial disclosure. All right, so this is the only thing that would be an exempt that even comes close, and you can read over this. An action for review on an administrative record. Oh, well, the administrative, that would all be administrative record. Oh yeah, administrative record definition, legal definition, any document that is related to a day-to-day business transactions. All right, these aren't day-to-day business transactions. Their names, the fact that they have a non-tax exempt status, the fact that they're filing 1099s, the fact that they're operating under the Commerce Clause, the fact that they're not a court but a bank, the fact that they're the fact that the prosecutor doesn't have a power of attorney, doesn't have a contract with the state to be representing the state. These are not day-to-day information issues. Okay. Another thing would be so all this would be in violation of Article 3, Section 501. This would be B2. Upon demand of a person to whom presentment is made, because they're presenting you an instrument, or they're supposed to, the person making the presentment must, number 2, give reasonable identification, and if presentment is made on behalf of another, reasonable evidence of authority to do so. Well, they don't ever do that. So let's go over presentment, because this is very important. It means a demand made on behalf of a person entitled to enforcing an instrument. They're not entitled to enforce a state instrument. To pay, at least they never put nothing on a record. They just assume and presume, and since you don't raise nothing, no questions about it, you just stuck like Chuck. All right, it says the instrument made to the drawee of the party obligated to pay the instrument, or in the case of the note or accepted draft, payable to the bank and the bank, or to the acceptable draft made to the drawee. So you're in a bank, man. That's what these are. The following rules are subject to Article 4, agreements of the parties, and clearhouse rules and links. Presentment may be made at the place of payment of the instrument, and must be made at the place of payment of the instrument is paid at the Bank of the United States. So you're in a bank, not a court. May be made by any commercial or reasonable means, including oral. So when he gets up there and he reads the charges to you, he's orally making the presentment. He's not, most of the time they don't even put the paperwork in front of you, do they? No. Communication is effective when the demand for payment or acceptance is received. So I like to use the word acceptance. Patrick doesn't, but guess what? I do. But I'll use both. I recognize you have an instrument, and I accept it according to the principles in Article 3, Section 501. Is received by the person to whom presentment is made, and is effective if made to any one or two or more makers, acceptors, drawees, or other persons. So that would be the person calling themselves the prosecutor, and the person calling themselves the judge. Upon demand, the person to whom presentment is made, that's you, the person making the presentment must exhibit the instrument. Okay, they said you could do it. They could do it orally. Give reasonable identification. Identification is, hey man, are you actually? What's your name? Or what is your tax exempt status? What jurisdiction is this? And if presentment is made on behalf of another person, reasonable evidence of authority to do so. They never do that. Sign a receipt on the instrument, or any payment made, or surrender the instrument if full payment is made. All right, so are they prepared at this time to surrender the instrument if full payment is made? No. Okay, they don't even have the instrument there. It's in the back room in the safe. Without dishonoring the instrument, the party to whom presentment is made may, 1, return the instrument for lack of necessary endorsements. Okay, that has to do with do you have the proof that you're authorized to make this presentment for the state? Nope. Well, then you don't have the authorized endorsements. I'm not dishonoring or bringing controversy. I'm asking. You want to ask questions. You don't want to make any statements, okay? Everything's about a question, because if you make a statement, you've raised controversy. They can throw you in the back room, and then they can move forward. You accept. I accept. I acknowledge you got an instrument. Bring it forward from from International Private Bankers authorization, and you can ask questions. And you can do that all day long, and you never raise controversy, so they can't have a trial. You can refuse or accept for failure to presentment to comply to the terms of the instrument and agreement of the parties. There is no contract. Is there a contract? Or other applications, laws, or rules. The party to whom presentment is made, that you may treat presentment as occurring on the next business day. So you've got to do this pretty quickly. All right. So that's how you handle a presentment. But let me see. There's also a place in here where you can demand, and I think I put that in there. It's going to be in right here. Identification, receipts. Anyway, but you can demand to see the instrument. All right, but I would just keep on asking questions, you know, and rules of discovery, you know. So there you go. You don't want to bring in a controversy. You don't want to make blank, you know, direct statements. You want to ask questions about their standing. If they don't have standing, I ask questions of are y'all trying to act like I'm the receiver of service for this organization? Who's put on the record that I'm the registered receiver of service? Have y'all gone down to the county or the parish courthouse and seen where I posted that I've resigned the duties of being a receiver for any state organization and appointed the Secretary of State? Wouldn't that be improper service? Wouldn't that be a reason to move and dismiss? Has any of this been put on the record to verify? Oh, he hasn't. Has he put on the record that he has a tax-exempt status to claim that he's a state prosecutor? Has he put on the record that he has a he has a power of attorney for the state? Has he put on the record that he has a contract with the state? Oh, he hasn't. I move for dismissal due to failure to prosecute. You know, there's a lot of things that you can have fun with these people, but you know, you can just keep on asking questions all day long. What is that yellow fringe flag doing in here? Are y'all a military court? Do you have on the record that I'm in the military anywhere? What type of military is this? Okay. Under Army Regulations, isn't under Army Regulations 840-10, Chapter 2, doesn't that state that flag can only be used in military courts? So you're stating this is a military court, right? Okay, so I mean, there's so many things that you can just all day long. I promise you, they're going home for supper. All right, they're not going to pitch you a tent. They're not going to bring you out and then bring you back in. Especially if you don't have your clothes on, their clothes on. They're pooched. So I hope this helps. I hope this bless. I hope I didn't raise confusion. I hope I was able to bless you with a little bit of this. I know I covered a lot of information within a short period of time. Hope you're blessed with what he's about to, Patrick's about to go into. Because Patrick's about to go into a little bit more about filing 211 and the 13909 and the 3949. If you want to go to the Night Sovereign Diplomatic Mission on Facebook, you can I've got everything down here in the files. I've got all his exhibits that are on the 39 folder that he speaks about so much, all the examples. Now about the money and everything, look, don't ask me questions about how you're going to get paid. I'm not going to tell you. You know, that's for you to find out. That's your money. You get that. That's your work. But how to keep yourself free? Well, I feel like I have a private fiduciary contracted responsibility to set everybody's free. Not only their physical body, but also their souls. And now here's the most important thing I'm going to ever tell you. Hope there's a time in your life where you go into prayer and you ask Dale that the debt he paid on the cross, your brother, he held it out all the way, my brother. And he didn't care. He did it for you, not just for me, but for you. Why did he do it? Because you're beautiful, you're mighty, you're made in the image of Elohim, and you are to be loved greatly, and he loved you greatly. And I hope you accept the debt that he paid on the cross as an atonement for your sins, that we can be together on that new earth, that we can be with love, that we can have an awesome time, and that we can chunk our crowns at his feet, and that we can just praise him. And I do this all in the name of Yahashua, Jehovah Elohim. Blessed be his name.
Hey, Tom, would you be willing to give me that gentleman's name who can help us with the foreign EIN? I keep having issues.
It was on the last call.
His name? Because I was looking for it. I can't find it. I don't understand.
Listen to the last call again.
Yeah, I understand, but I with his name, as I keep looking for the name and I can't find it. I don't know where to find this name to help me.
What? You can't look for names on a call.
Well, he said his name, and then I was looking in the Skype room. It's the only place I know where there's some names.
No, he gave his phone number on the call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll check that then. I must have missed it.
His name is Josh Adon, and his phone number is 513-836-9835.
Thank you.
Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
I'll post that in the Skype group also. Well, he would be in the Skype group if he wanted to distribute it there. So let's just do it this way. I'm going to go move here for a while.
Okay. I don't know whether you guys understand what's going on here. I posted documents up there to get you out of the system. You go out and you try and play with any other system out here, you don't understand a damn thing. Okay? And you can get yourself in trouble. Okay? I've listened to another talk show last night. Guys going on and on about different things. Doesn't have any idea about what is really going on in the UCC world. That basically there's two forms of money in this country. One is the debt money, the Federal Reserve dollars. The other side is the credit money, which is, and you can look it up in the dictionary, it even says it, that a bill of credit is money. Not a negotiable instrument, not a bill of exchange, none of that. It's called a bill of credit. When they send you a bill, you have to, as you are the owner of these UCC contract trust, it's like you go out and you want to buy a house or have a house built. You go and get the loan. You have the credit sitting in your bank account or in your back pocket. Now, you go out and you get a contractor, the state of Iowa, the United States, the Social Security Administration, the DOT, whoever that contractor is. Then they, as a contractor, have to go out and have a performance bond and a payment bond. So you give them a down payment of the credits that you have in your back pocket from the loan that you got at the bank. Then the contractor goes out and starts building the item, the house, adding the seatbelt violation, adding the speed limit violation, adding all these additional things to that contract for the performance of that contract. I put the flow chart up there, the house of cards. They go out and they basically put the debt money into circulation, the Federal Reserve dollars. So that's debt money that's circulating around. That's the national debt. You have to come in, and then when the contractor gives you a bill, you release the credits out of your back pocket or your back pocket loan of credit account, and basically the contractor has to cancel that amount of debt that he has. We are not the debtor. The contractor is. We hold the credits. We are the creditor. All of the credits that are accrued in the bonds, the performance and the payment bonds, we are the owners of all of those, not the contractor. We can come in and terminate this contract at any point in time when we come in the standing as a non-UCC owner. It's that damn simple. We go to the IRS Technical Support Division, TSD. The main office is located in Washington, D.C., but there are local offices. There's an Eastern and a Western division or region office. One is located in Cincinnati, the other one's located in San Francisco. Well, lo and behold, those two places contain also the main regional or the Eastern and the Western regional CID offices. Well, a little deductive reasoning now comes back that basically when you send your documents in to Washington, D.C., they get farmed out to either Cincinnati or San Francisco. Then, in the discussion, they get farmed out to the local IRS Technical Support Division at your federal district office, IRS office. Well, there's another branch of government that is located at those two places also. That branch of government is called the Secret Service. The Secret Service at your local federal district is also the local Treasury UCC contract trust agents and the CID contractor investigative division agents. When you have a problem with a contractor, after you submit your bill of credits in and they do not process them, the contractor, then you fill out a 3949A form. But it says send it out to San Francisco or over to Cincinnati. Used to say Cincinnati. So where's it going to come back to? It's going to come right back to that local Secret Service office. So why the hell are we out here running all over the damn place when why don't we just go right to the damn Secret Service office and expose them? Hey, I know what your Secret Service is. You're the local Treasury UCC contract trust agents. And you're also the CID, the Contractor Investigative Division agents. I turn around and send a copy of everything that I sent out to Washington, D.C. up to my local Secret Service office today by fax. I said, I know who the hell you are. Why? Because I've been out there busting my ass, going to all these different offices. Then when I sit back and think about things, I can see what's really going on. None of these other guys have ever gotten off their damn ass to do half the shit that they talk about. And they're out there selling all this shit to you. Putting a title in front of their name, like judge or some other shitting thing. Oh, I know what the hell's going on. I'm a judge. Up in Alaska or over in Hong Kong or some damn nitwit out here. Doing the same damn thing that people have been doing for almost 40 years and not getting any goddamn results. Wanting to go to court and fight the damn system. You stand as a non-UCC owner. These UCC courts cannot touch you. That is what the problem's been. Not your name, nothing else. Are you the UCC person or are you a non-UCC person? That's it. I went up to Des Moines, up to the state capitol, to the treasurer's office one day. This was several years back. I informed him that basically I was up there and that I had been in contact with the CID. And that if any harm came to me and I did not return and call them back within a certain amount of time, they would be investigating what happened to me. I got an escort until I left town of 2 highway patrolmen to make sure that basically I got out of town okay. Little inquisitive about what I was doing. I went over to the Attorney General's office. I went to the Secretary of State's office while I was there, trying to get my stuff through. But I didn't have the understanding I did now of knowing that these are bills of credit. And I didn't fully understand that the state of Iowa, which is a foreign UCC government, is the contractor. I submitted 11 traffic tickets endorsed with the template that I put up there for claiming so much back against the performance side of the contractor's bond and also so much against the performance bond or the payment bond, my laborer's payment bond. Our all capital name person, whatever, is on that document. He is the fictional person, but he is the laborer in that contract. And we can come in and claim his labor for him. I explained this to the local sheriff, went over the flow chart that I have with the house of cards out here, showing the layout, showing the fraud of the Bar Association. They're all under UCC contracts. County attorney stood there, dumbfounded. And I told him, hey, I know you can't say a damn thing because you're under an oath of death that if you open your mouth or say anything, basically, they can turn around and take you out. You can't say a damn thing. That's the Masonic oath of black whatever. The Blackhearts, the bar, they are basically operating under a foreign title of nobility, the state of title of nobility, which is a violation of the First Amendment, or the first Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. So they're not operating under the Constitution. Bills of credit are not under the Constitution. But under these foreign contractors, these UCC contractors, they can issue bills of credit. You stay away from doing any bonds. You are not licensed to write bonds. Bonds will get you into jail because you don't know what's going on, and basically then they make an example of you just for shits and grins. Because you just put yourself in jail not knowing the truth, thinking you did, but you didn't. They can't throw you in jail if you release the credits. This goes all the way back to the first volume of the Statutes at Large. That when Alexander Hamilton set up the Department of the Treasury, which was a derivative of the original Treasury Department, in order that they could set up the foreign private bank, First National Bank, in this country in 1791 under a 20-year contract. Volume 1 of the Statutes at Large, 5th Congress, Session 2, Chapter 49, 50, and 51, all address the remedy that if the courts do not settle the debt by going to the Treasury and drawing the credits from the de jure Treasury to pay the debt, then the individual is to petition the Treasury, which right now would be to the IRS Technical Support Division of the Treasury, the Treasury UCC Contract Trust Division, and you would order a bill of credit release from your birth certificate, your Social Security account, whatever account is needed to release the credits to get you out of jail. If somebody throws you in jail and basically they have not presented you with a bill of credits with a value on it of so many, what is the value of this charge? No bill, no charge. It's that simple. Don't sign anything unless you have the instruments, the proper instruments in hand. You never consent to anything until you have the proper instruments in your hand. The contract, the bill, so that you can release the credits. Study the damn contract law for dummies. Dummies. Some people get upset with me because I'm not holding seminars out here, holding their hand, kissing their ass, and everything else. I can't make it any simpler than this. I've given you the templates. I've given you the documents to write. I've given you the words of understanding out of the dictionaries. I can't do any more than that. I can't basically wipe your ass for you. Well, I refuse to do that one. I can't protect you from going out and being a stupid asshole and going and following anybody else and getting yourself in trouble. You want to do that? Do it. But leave my people alone. I gave you some key information right here about understanding. You go up to the IRS window in the local federal district building, and you present your bill of credit right there. You endorse it, releasing the credits. Turn it over to the IRS. The IRS is the Internal Monetary Revenue Service of this country. You fill out a 3949A against the contractor if they refuse to process your bills of credit when you send them back. Everybody is scared of the CID, or better known, the Secret Service agent men and women. You let the IRS, these guys, take them to court. You don't file any liens or any claims against them. You file the 3949A. You can file a 13909 form against them when they try and claim tax-exempt status, when they're all out here operating for a profit. They can't claim tax-exempt status if they're operating for profit. Only the de jure government of this country, the Iowa Republic government, officials and offices that are not on the take for public employees' retirement system, if they have none of that, then they can be classified as a non-profit organization. But if they are getting kickbacks with a retirement, they are not a tax-exempt organization. They are bought and paid for bankers for profit. Banking agents for profit. I've tried to tell you people about, you have to know about banking, about money out here. When you go to the IRS Technical Support Division, TDS or TSD, they are the ones that will bring about the enforcement of Title 15 USC Section 1 and 2. against the contractor and against the contractor's agents that cause you harm or damage. You can turn around and you can file a 211 form in a claim form for the reimbursement of either the $1 million against an individual or the $100 million against a corporation. Fine basically whatever they assign. That fine is up to. It does not say it starts at $100 million or it starts at $1 million. They may be only fined $10,000 or $1 million for the corporation. But you can basically get a claim in against that using the 211. Now, if you have your local law enforcement officers, like your sheriff's department, which I showed and gave a copy of that to the local sheriff, and I said, basically, if you end up getting stuck with housing prisoners, that the court does not issue a bill of credit for that person, you can file a charge into the IRS using the 13909 form or the 3949A. And then you can basically turn around and the law enforcement officers would file a 211A form for a reimbursement for turning in these crooks, these criminals, these UCC criminals, for breach of their UCC contract trust. Too many people out here are basically hung up on, I'm going to sue these guys. I'm going to put a lien on them, mechanics lien. You guys got to realize that all those UCC filings are controlled by the damn contractor. Why would you go to the contractor to put a complaint in against the contract? He's not going to process it. You've got to do your non-UCC, and then you've got to come in from outside to attack them. But you don't attack them. You let the people that basically can go inside and take them down. The Trojan horse. Here in America, known as the Secret Service. Unless I'd been out there doing all this stuff, I wouldn't have seen this. I would have been just as dumb as most of these other people that are running around out here doing the same damn thing over and over again and not getting any different results. Hit and miss here and there. We are at the breaking point. We're doing this constantly on a moving target. We're a moving target. We're hitting them. The wall is coming down. I've been tooting my horn for about 7 years now, going around the walls of Jericho, and the walls of Jericho are just about ready to fall down. You can either be with me or be against me. But I gave you all the answers. Now, it's up to you to have the proper faith and belief. don't be a goddamn doubting Thomas and want to stick your finger in the damn nail hole. Because there is no nail holes here. Jesus got out of the system the same way Daniel did, the same way Moses did, the same way Abraham did, the same way Cain did, by terminating the contracts, crucifying the contracts. But you have to go to the UCC contract trust agents, the Treasury UCC contract trust agents, and terminate them. Because all these UCC contract trusts really are being processed under the Department of the Treasury, the derivative of the original Treasury Department. The original Treasury Department stands over the Department of the Treasury. The Secret Service works for the Treasury Department, not the Department of the Treasury. All of the payment bond, labor credits that are there are being held under the Department of the Labor. That is the secondary UCC credit depository, labor depository. People have gone out and taken, like, get a frivolous filing for $5,000. Okay, you release the credits. That's a bill of credit. You put down an endorsement to release the 5,000 credits from the performance bond. You can also add on to that returned bill of credits an additional 10,000 release of credits from the payment bond. Now, those credits have to be paid to you because they are labor credits against the payment bond. When you guys start able to wake up and think for yourselves, you can start thinking about these different processes. You are the creator. Act like it. You are the owner. Act like it. They are just fictions. They're operating in the UCC system. You operate in the non-UCC system. For the Constitution of the United States, that is the de jure banking system of the country. And you let the de jure Treasury Department, Secret Service agents do their job for you. You don't seek your individual revenge. You let the ones that basically are licensed to do that are employed by you to do that. The mob boss doesn't go out and do all his dirty work. He sends out his agents. He tries and keeps his hands clean. That's what these UCC bankers are doing. They're getting out here and they're letting all of these bar banking agents do the dirty work for them. They're the hatchet men for the damn bankers that are sitting on their asses out there in their mansions and chateaus and everything else, living the good life, while the hatchet men are out there doing all the dirty work for them. These bar attorneys are dumber than rocks. Especially my county attorney. Those bills, those traffic tickets, where'd they go? I told them right where they had to go. They had to turn around and process them through the Iowa Attorney General's office. Because in the Iowa Attorney General's office, they have also brokerage agents there known as customer agents. They are the brokerage agents for the contractor, for the state of Iowa contractor. That's where these bills of credit had to go, from the county, from the clerk of the court at the county level up to the secretary or the attorney general's office, justice department, just exchangement department.
Just exchange.
In the UCC system. Tomorrow, and basically I told him, I do not want a check for this amount. I want it in cash. If that's not there tomorrow, I will be filing with the CID, the local CID agents, the Secret Service agents here, a 3949A against them. Against the local county clerk of the court, and because that clerk of the court is the banking court, the UCC banking court, and the Attorney General's office. They're scared to death of the CID, which is the Secret Service. You never see the CID. You never see the Treasury UCC contract trust agents. Well, who are they? They're the secret people, the secret agents, otherwise known as the Secret Service. Their main function in life is not to protect the president. And in the past, they haven't done a good job of that in some regards. After I left the county attorney and the sheriff and the clerk of the court's office, I went down to the supervisor's board meeting that same morning. There was a guy in there for waste management, basically talking with the supervisors about getting a contract renegotiation. Here's another place where we got some real dumb-ass people. I listened to him, basically go on and on. Finally, I knew he was just about ready to finish up. I said, can I say something? And basically I asked that waste management guy. I said, you are the contractor, right? He said, yes. I said, you have to have a contractor's performance and payment bond, right? He said, yes. I turned to the supervisors and I said, all you guys have to do is basically when you get the bill from him, that is a bill of credit, and all you have to do is endorse it, acknowledge it as a bill of credit, endorse it, and give it back to him so he can set it off against his bonds of credits. Bill paid. They couldn't comprehend that. I gave them a flow chart. They're not going to look at it. They're arrogant assholes. Dumber than shit. I don't think half of them can really read. I said, you guys can't be out here voting on things if you're getting IPERS. Iowa Public Employees Retirement. I said, the government, the constitutional governments of the state and of the nation never set up retirement for government officials. To do that, they would be controlled by the bankers. And they are. That's a conflict of interest. Anytime that these supervisors vote on anything to raise the taxes or whatever, they essentially are raising additional funds for their retirement programs. They're getting a kickback. Therefore, they cannot legally vote on any item out here. I've gone over that in the past. But I proved it when I went into that supervisor's meeting and confronted that waste management guy, that contractor, and he acknowledged that he had a contractor's performance and a contractor's payment bond in place. We have given the down payment for those. We have released the credits when we signed the contract. That is the original letter of credit, our signature, whenever we signed a contract. We were funding the performance and the payment bonds at that point in time. Therefore, any accrual in those performance and payment bonds, those credits belong to us to set off the debts that are accrued under this contract. I tried to address all of that on one sheet of paper.
Where is that?
It's all right there.
Flow chart.
So you guys can do whatever you want to from now on, okay? I've told you the answer. I've given you the examples. I've given you the letters and everything else of what you need to do to get out of the system. Nobody else has that answer. You go and play with any other process out here, trying to make a quick buck or anything like that, and you're going to get your ass in trouble.
Get your ass in trouble. Absolutely right.
You can take that $5,000 penalty right up to the cashier's window at the IRS, at your local IRS office, as a bill of credit. And basically walk out of there or have the credits deposited into your debit card or your checking account or get a check. It's a banking window. It's a treasury banking window. That is the window that I was looking for. That is the Department of Labor also window that I was trying to go in and put our claims in for overtime. It all fits. We know that there has to be a CID agents right here locally. We know that there has to be a Treasury UCC contract trust agents here locally monitoring the UCC contract here at the local area. That's what the Secret Service office is all about. They will use the FBI, the federal banking investigators out here, to go in against these UCC bankers. They will use the U.S. Marshals to go out and seize the assets that are being controlled by these foreign agents. They will use the IRS, basically, for going after these contractors when they have not been filing their 1099-A, B, C, or whatever banking forms. They are not our forms. Stop filling them out. They're the contractor's forms. The contractor is the debtor. We are not the debtor. We're the owner. The contractors owe their debt to the Department of the Treasury. We don't owe the Department of the Treasury shit all. But we have to release the credits to the contractors. Now they have to pay their debts. They have to go in and cancel out the national debt. If they don't, they're going to jail. You try and play arrogant and say, oh, I can't own anything. I didn't put my signature on it. I didn't do this. I'm not a party to the Constitution. I'm not a party to the Declaration of Independence. I'm just not a party of any fucking thing in this country. So why don't you fucking leave? I get sick and tired of some of these arrogant patriot assholes out here that have their heads so far up their ass they just can't see the light of day. And then they continually run around in the same circle, thinking they're seeing something new. But they're just going around in the same circle, and they're just digging themselves a deeper and deeper hole in the process. Okay, I've ranted and raved enough. Open it up for questions, Tom.
Okay, Patrick. That was really interesting to hear, though, the conversations you've been having there in Iowa.
Well, I'm trying to wake people up, Tom, and I'm trying to wake you up, too.
Yeah.
For you to get your head out of your ass and get away from any other of that stuff you're doing.
Well, we need to be able to encounter these.
You've already got a bunch of people pissed off at you.
Are you ready for a success story?
Okay.
Hey, I want to bolster Patrick's non-UCC, the registered Bailey Baylor. This is the only document that I filed into the court with a power of attorney and a list of, for the contract, the evidence that was pending against my son. Okay? Well, on the 24th of June, the judge would not release my son. But on the 28th of June, after receiving these documents, the judge also was female, by the way. Miraculously, on the 28th, the judge had something to do, and this sharpshooter, and I call him a sharpshooter because I looked up his pedigree, and he's like banking, agricultural leads, what else is it? Commercial contracts and the like. This guy's been a judge since the Wilson days. Okay, he's been an attorney since '64. He releases my son on his own recognizance, not one charge, not one demand, not one, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. They let him go. Okay? And I don't have any other explanation for it than that non-UC Bailey Baylor with 25 million reasons for them to cease and desist placing charges against the name that I have this non-UCC claim on, which is superior than a UCC claim. Everybody there here on the call needs to know that.
Yeah, and when you do your non-UCC registration under a registered mail label, you are using a 13-digit number. Okay?
Yep.
That's the most powerful number here in this country. 13 stripes in the flag. You fly the flag of the country for the 13 stripes, not for the stars on it, for the stripes. You basically stand behind, protected. You're the eagle in the Great Seal of the country. And I pointed that out to the bankruptcy court. And basically that shut down them from even trying to claim that I was threatening that female cunt bitch judge.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be vicious with a woman judge because they have no right to even think they have power over a man because they are a debtor. You can't be a judge if you are in debt, and a woman is always supposed to be in debt to her husband. A debtor cannot be a representative of anybody. Therefore, basically, all these female bar attorneys and everything, basically, they better get their head out of their ass and realize where in the hell they're at.
Patrick, I don't know what happened. I don't know what good cause was shown in the order. I can't really confirm or deny it, but it's kind of awfully strange that as soon as they get this, all of a sudden, and this judge doesn't like substitute attorneys. The one that actually was bringing the charges had to show up to the court. Completely different district attorney, and he did not. When he says, "Do you have any objections?" He said, "Nope, quick, fast, and in a hurry." They wanted that away from them as far as they could get it.
Right, because see, you could turn around and file charges in with them, with the Secret Service, with the IRS Technical Support Division at your local federal office against with the Secret Service for that Treasury UCC contract trust that they were trying to hold him under. okay?
Right.
And then also the Contractor Investigative Division, the CID, which is also the Secret Service. They don't want to mess with the Secret Service.
So tell me something. Would I have a legitimate complaint if they didn't charge them? If they did, there was nothing. They just let them go. I wouldn't really. I kind of almost have to forgive them in a way. I mean, I could do it, but the next time they've been noticed, there is no grace. They've already been noticed. You follow what I'm saying? I can forgive them this time because this is the first time I've given them notice. If there's a time after this time, there is no more. You've been noticed already. I don't have to forgive you. That complaint that you're talking about is immediately filed.
You can basically go and take that court case and basically based upon that turn around and make that court case a bill of credit for payment, a charge against the payment bond that they were charging him initially under. What was the charging instrument? The Social Security account number, the driver's license. What was the charging instrument? What was the contract?
Okay, right. I have. It was
you make up a bill of credit against that court case. You take the court case and you make a charge, a bill of credit release from the payment bond of that contract. You submit that into the Technical Support Division at the local IRS office for the release of that much credit from the payment bond. You're the owner.
Correct. Well, it's actually my chargee. It's actually my son. But
when I was talking to my county attorney there, I said, you can go downstairs and look at my car. It's got no state of Iowa license plates on it. I never paid any sales tax on it. You can't write a ticket against that car. You can't write a ticket against me because I don't have a driver's license. I've got a state ID under the same number, account number, but I don't have a driver's license, so you can't charge me as a driver. The sheriff knows that one too. And I pulled right up in front of the sheriff's office and I explained to him about my license. And see, I've got a registered mail number on my license plate. But you can also put in big 3-inch letters on there, non-UCC. Cop sees that. He can't charge that vehicle. He can only charge a UCC vehicle. You don't go to the state or the county to do a non-UCC filing. Too many of these other groups out here, basically they think they can go in and get a state UCC online or whatever, non-UCC, and it's got a state number. Well, basically, lo and behold, you try and use that in any court action, they find out it's got a state number on it, it's going to be voided because the state cannot issue a non-UCC. They can only deal with commercial items. You use your 13-digit protective number.
What is that?
Why do you think all the casinos out in Vegas, they hate the number 13?
Hello, Patrick.
Yeah.
Man, you're giving me goosebumps tonight, man. It's awesome. I love it. You reminded me of a story that I heard about 3 weeks ago that I completely forgot about, but you're reminding me tonight. There was a guy, I guess it was Ohio, he had a problem with the prosecution, And he kept telling the prosecutor, show me your contract that you have with the state to do business or whatever. And he kept saying, oh, that's a private contract, you're not a party to it and everything. And he says, hold on a minute. Now you put my name on a piece of paper and you send it through the mail. You just made me a party to the contract. Now I want to see the contract and how it has to deal with me. Well, they wouldn't show it to him. What ended up happening is they shut down the law firm and 60 attorneys were disbarred.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. These attorneys, see, the one key thing that they're taught in law school is contract law. And they can even screw up a contract. I worked in nuclear power for years. Basically, I had to deal with the NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, their codes of law and everything else. I stood up against them quite a few different times. That's where a lot of my foundation came from, in understanding this stuff. These codes of law are not for us.
Yeah.
They're not the law.
And something that you say really resonates with the way I think is that you can contract away the Constitution, and that's exactly what they're offering us by this separate banking system and all this bills of credit and everything. It's all contracts.
Yeah, they're trying to get us to operate under Alexander Hamilton's Department of the Treasury foreign banking system.
Yeah, they're getting us to contract away from the Constitution, basically just voiding it in our own lives individually, you know?
Yeah, and we've got to get back to the protections of the Constitution. Then we have our Bills of Rights protected.
Yeah,
we have all our powers over them.
Yep, you cancel their contract, there's nothing left except for the Constitution, and we are all party to the Constitution, whether you want to or not, because the Constitution doesn't say we the people, the undersigned.
Yeah.
It says we the people. So if you want to be one of the people, you can, but if you don't, that's fine. It's not forced on you.
Right, you've got free will.
Right, but you have to terminate the contract you have with this foreign government in order for it to default to that position. That's all I'm going to say. And I thank you, Patrick. I'll mute out.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, Patrick, I have a question. I heard you, I have been caught up with some of the audios, but I was listening to you stating about the last name first, and the last name and then first name. And in the affidavits to go with these bills of exchange, or in the cover letter that we're sending, are we writing everything like that? Last name first, Guzman Johnny?
It doesn't make any difference, okay? It really doesn't make any difference. Most of their UCC contracts are last name and then first name, middle name. Look at how the contract was written, how you fill in the forms, okay? But you, when you stand, you basically come in. I am Patrick of the family Devine. But you don't have to say of the family, you just put a semicolon, last name. You're not dead. You're the living. You're the owner. You put that non-UCC in there, and you're the living person.
Okay.
That's it. Keep it simple. Don't try and play word games like all the patriots out here for years have been screwing up the whole misunderstanding about, well, it's this and it's that, and it's this and it's that, and this and that hasn't gotten them anything.
Okay, gotcha.
I've got a document sitting here. I'm doing a non-UCC against it. The document is certificate of origin for a vehicle. No value on it. It's with Ford Motor Company. The Ford Motor Credit Company basically had to write a performance and a payment bond for this vehicle to contract the building of that vehicle. I have the contract in my hand. I can do a UCC against that, list down the minimum credits that are due from that contract of $25,050. I sign this over and basically do a bill of credit release on it per this registered mail UCC that cost me $12.17. Well, it's going to cost me a little more than that. It's going to cost me another $1.15 for the stamp, for the global stamp. So roughly we'll say right around $15 altogether. Turn around and basically I'll file that in and turn this over to the Secret Service because this is a Treasury UCC contract trust for this individual vehicle. Let them go in and terminate the performance and the payment bonds, and basically there's going to be more credits there even after they cancel that amount of debt in the national debt. Pull that many Federal Reserve debt dollars off the shelf. The rest, tell them, deposit it into the de jure Treasury. All I want out of the deal is I want my debit card from the Treasury. I don't need to have the credits delivered to me. I don't need to know what the value that they get out of it. I don't need to know the value that they get out of my birth certificate. They put it in a Treasury, I'll be happy, and basically the national debt will be decreased by that amount. Whatever Federal Reserve dollars of debt were created will be canceled off the books.
Not to mention everything that you do from this point forward, from that point forward rather, would be a debt-consuming activity.
Yeah, and basically when we get receipts, we will turn around and process those through the IRS Technical Support Service Division there at your local IRS office and have those credits turned around and deposited in to the Treasury. We don't need the credits. We get an unlimited credit card, debit credit card, against the credits that are held in the de jure Treasury Depository. I don't know what more you could ask for. You get a passbook savings account, a green one. You operate in the green with Abraham Lincoln's greenbacks, labor dollars, labor credits. Your forefathers' labor credits and your labor credits that you've accrued over your lifetime. You turn around and you do the same thing. You deposit your dead parents' labor credits back into the de jure treasury. Don't let the Bushes and Hillary Clinton try and claim these down the road. Hopefully one of these days there's going to be enough charges out here when some of these people wake up and we turn around and file charges against Hillary bitch Clinton. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
So we're still okay sending it to D.C. Because that's where I sent mine and my wife's. So we're still okay. It'll filter down.
Well, that basically, I turned around and I said, wait a minute. Why should I wait for them in D.C. to go through it? Say they take 3 days. Then they turn around and send it out to San Francisco, because that's where mine would go, because I'm on the west side of the Mississippi. Go out to San Francisco. They sit there and look at it for 3 days. Then they turn around and send it over to the Secret Service over here at my local federal district, and they take 3 days. So basically, 3 days in, mail system, okay, also in between there. So now you've got 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3.
So you're
That's another
suggesting
2 weeks or better.
Right.
Or more. Why not also copy the local Secret Service office?
Okay.
Now they try and claim we can't work off of fax material. Well, that's total bullshit.
Just to let you know, I got a call from the Labor Department in Washington, D.C. After I sent my package to Austin, Texas. They sent it to Washington, D.C., and I got a call from them wanting to know what was going on. And, of course, they didn't have a clue, and evidently they couldn't read the documents, so they were going to send it to the Solicitor General.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting. They did call me.
Yeah, well, I got 2 letters from the IRS this last week. Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, Tax Exempt and Government Entities Division, Exemption Organization Examination. I sent 2 13909 forms in against my county court and county prosecutor. They said, well, we received your stuff, we're looking at it, but we can't tell you what the hell the ongoing investigation is going to be about. But they acknowledged it back to me that they had received it. So basically, I know damn well that it'll work. When we go after these contractors and these third-party interveners, and that's all that these bar courts are, and the county attorneys, these bar licensed, they're third-party interveners, interlopers.
It's find out where the SID office is.
Yeah.
in Dallas. Oops, I'm talking.
What?
Sorry, I forgot to mute myself.
But see, you can send that 13909 form right up to your local Secret Service office. You can send the 1349A up to the Secret Service office, local. Let them know, hey, I know who the hell you guys are. Your secret's out. Instead of wearing a black coat, now you can start wearing a white coat. Because I just turned the light on. Stop operating in the shadows. Anybody else?
Yes, I have a question. This is Anna. I would like to know what foreign commercial constructive contract number, what number that is on the credit.
On what?
I would like to know what the foreign commercial constructive contract is. It's on your template for the bill of credit acknowledgement.
You were breaking up. I couldn't understand what you were trying to say.
Oh.
Well, there's somebody else breathing. It's somebody else creating noise. Have to catch it.
I'd like to know what the foreign commercial constructive contract number is. It's on the template of the bill of credit.
Okay.
Well, that is basically what contract you have. The Social Security number, the driver's license number, the mortgage number, the certificate of title to your house.
Okay.
Your birth certificate number, okay? Those are all, they're either in a 7 to 11 digit number, contract number. Okay, and that's a UCC number.
Okay, so I want to try it with Time Warner. So do I put their account number or one of my numbers?
You've got an account number on the bill.
That's right, so I put their account number.
It's your account number. It's your contract.
Okay.
You are the owner of that contract with them.
Yeah, but I didn't assign the number. They did. So I just mean their number in the sense
Yes, they
that
put a number on there, but basically it's your contract.
Okay.
You're the owner of that contract. You're the one that can order the release of the credits that are held from the performance and the payment bonds that they have out there, and they're hoping you never find out about these performance and payment bonds when you walk away. Then they can claim that as abandoned property.
Okay. Is that how you're getting your bills taken care of?
I haven't got any bills.
Okay, because how are they getting taken care of? Because I'd like to be in that position too.
Oh, see, I don't have any bills, so I don't have to do that.
So how did you get to that point to not have any bills?
Well, basically, I'd send hospital bills in that I never did this bill of credit release, but I ordered them to release the credits out there. So basically it's said enough and basically threatened them enough that basically they just went ahead and took care of it.
Okay.
Patrich, I have another question. So according to the process, we don't need to go to bankruptcy court anymore. We just submit the non-UCC and the other documents to the Treasury.
Forget the bankruptcy court. Forget anything that deals with a bar attorney.
Okay.
You stay the hell away from those shitheads.
Okay.
You
Hallelujah.
can flip them the
Thank you.
finger as you walk by them.
Thank you, Jesus. Praise the Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, you hang a big sign around your neck saying non-UCC person.
Mm.
You can't fuck with me.
Lawyers are liars.
Yeah. See, the Constitution of the United States of America is a non-UCC contract with the people. A 13-digit contract with the people. Based upon all the 13 that are involved in that contract. That's the main contract you have. That's why when you use a 13-digit number, you're now reverting back to the de jure Constitution contract of the country and the Bills of Rights. And basically now they don't have any standing because they're foreigner interlopers.
Patrick, this is
Yeah.
Anna again, and I have a question about when you sent the information about the car, the truck. Did you get a purchase order for the truck, or how did you go about getting the initial paperwork to do your bill of credit?
I basically went in and paid. I had so much money in my Direct Express card because they continually used my Social Security account. I put a stop on it after getting 2 Social Security payments back about 6 years ago. But they continued to draw out because that's one thing that these shitheads out here, once you start something, they ain't going to stop it because they want their benefits. They're the beneficiaries of all of the usage of our credits. So basically when I reapplied for Social Security a year ago, basically they ended up owing me something like $70,000. So I had $70,000 on my Direct Express card. I went in there and paid for the car outright out of the credits off of that card. I told them I want the MSO. I said I will take it down to the secretary or the treasurer and pay the property or pay the sales tax and register that if it's required by the law. It's not required by the law. So I didn't go down to the treasurer. But I had that put on my contract that basically if it's required by law, I'll do it. I didn't want any. I wanted 30 days that if anything happened, that the vehicle was a lemon or so within 30 days, that basically I had the right to basically have everything fixed that broke down within 30 days. After that, I didn't have a warranty. No 7-year warranty or anything like that. If the car breaks down now, I'll go get another one. Okay? I didn't want a 30-day dealer's plate on the car. First thing I did was take their advertisement sticker off the car. I'm not going to give free advertisement for a commercial UCC corporation. So there's nothing on that vehicle that basically can claim that that is under a UCC contract.
Well, for somebody like me, I don't have any money at all, and I need a new car. I'm in desperate need of a new car. So what can I do to get a car? Because I really need one.
You basically go in and you do a bill of credit up to the IRS against your birth certificate. Do a draw against the payment bond. You haven't heard me.
Right, I did. But can I go to my local IRS office and do
submit
that?
it in.
Okay. And I tell
Are you
them...
on Social Security now?
No, I am not.
Okay. Do you have a Treasury Direct account?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do you have a bank account?
Yes, I do.
Do you know how to get out of the system? 3 days, basically, you put this stuff in and basically get this started processing. You notify your local Secret Service, UCC contract trust agents, send them a copy, and basically tell them, I want these contracts terminated. You've got 3 days. I'm coming in as Jesus Christ, and I want to be resurrected in 3 days. I'm not beating around the
Praise God.
bush. I'm here as the owner. I want this terminated so that I can protect the country. You go to a bank with your birth certificate or whatever, and they may take up to 30 days to process it. Where if you terminate and get these things going, you should be able to get your response very damn quick. Under the rule of death and resurrection. Use that terminology.
I will.
Okay. Use the bill of credits. That's what they're there for. They're money. Read the definitions in the dictionary. Understand the words. That's what I've tried to stress for years. It says right in the Bible, in the teachings, in the New Testament, you have to understand the word.
Okay, but the problem is when you're dealing with...
There is no problem.
There is
a
problem
is that you're out here as a woman arguing with me.
Well, I'm just letting you know that when you're going to a department, you are dealing with a drone. If I go to the IRS, I'm dealing with an IRS agent who has absolutely
I told you who to go to, the IRS Technical Support Division.
Okay, so we wouldn't be going to a local office. We would be sending in...
Yes, you do.
The local office has the technical
that
support.
IRS Technical Support Division is part of that local office.
Okay, but what I'm saying is...
You've got to go to the right window in that office. You put your documents in the right way, the way I told you to, the way I told you and gave you the examples to endorse them. Take them in there. You haven't done this yet, so you don't know that I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know, so I want to be, that's why I'm asking.
Yell and anything else when you ain't
I
listening.
want to be. That's
fair
it.
when
You
I go in.
people wannabes. And wannabes never do a goddamn thing.
Okay, well,
Thank you,
I think
Patrick.
that's very reasonable.
They can't
to be
stand this. Get off the
when
phone.
you go in.
Quit talking. Shit. I'm with you, Patrick.
I'm sorry to say, but women, basically, your mind is on the other side of the track.
Amen.
You try and come up with every comprehensive, and that is the problem with half the men, too, is that basically they've gotten polluted and started getting a woman's mindset.
Yes.
in the damn process. That's why a woman is really supposed to be standing behind her man. Okay? She is supposed to be part of a man's
allow my husband to ask you. Allow him to ask you. Then if you don't want to hear anything, then...
Lord have mercy. Ego.
Competent.
You want to argue. You're a woman that wants to argue in the
no,
process.
I don't want to argue. I'm trying to get
My wife. My wife for 41 years.
And listen.
And I think there's probably other people on the call who would like to understand the details, and I think that's reasonable.
I've given
other
the
people
details.
have the same needs.
You don't listen, man.
The details.
Miss Ann, you ain't listening. You're like my wife. You hear me, but you never listen.
Oh, okay, so I'm being insulted by everybody here?
No,
We're not insulted. We
You're
love
being
you.
insulted. You're being told the
Learn
truth.
how to listen.
I know, but I also feel
Miss
that
Ann,
you
please
irresponsible.
listen, ma'am.
I'm trying
By the grace
to
of God.
understand how to overcome.
Sir, will you stop speaking when Patrick and her are speaking, because there's too much conversation going on. It's getting too aggravating for anyone to listen.
Oh, Lord.
Kindly.
Get her off.
I'm simply trying to understand how we can overcome certain hurdles that we may come into. Because, yes, there
do that. That's you.
communications with the agent or whoever that we may be in contact with. I'm just trying to understand how to overcome that.
I told you how to overcome it. I've given you the examples how to overcome it. I've talked about it for the last 2 or 3 times on the
I
calls.
understand that, but if I walk into a bank and hand them my birth certificate, it's very doubtful that they're going to cash it.
You go into a national bank, and basically they have done this in the past, okay? I'm telling you that basically your best bet is to go where the people really know where it's at, and that is basically the Technical Support Division with the Treasury Department out here. You understand there's a bill of credit. You understand that. So when they ask you questions, what is this? You say it's a bill of credit. You have the definition right there in your hand. Here, read the definition. It says it's money. You run this through your mind so that you understand what the words mean. If you don't understand what the words mean, don't do it. Because you're going to screw it up.
I understand clearly.
And if you keep opening your mouth when you go in there and try and argue anything, and that's one of the reasons why most of the women are in jail, is because they don't know when to shut up. I've told women that basically all you have to do is basically go in and you stand by the book of Ruth and shut your goddamn mouth.
Amen. I love you, Patrick. Pray for you every day.
I've given you the answers.
I understand
in
that,
the
but I
damn
was
Bible.
asking for details because I think that's some of the things that may be missing is, okay, what paperwork do you get from the car dealer? All right, I understand there's paperwork to send in, send in the bill of credit. You talked about going to a local office.
Sound like you work for the IRS.
Utility bills.
Ask a question real quick. I think I already know what. I can see what where you're missing the point. I can tell you exactly where you're missing the point. Okay, you are attempting to commingle private enterprise with public stuff, and they don't commingle.
That is not correct. I understand there's a private side, but I want to do a private side transaction.
Let me ask you this question. Did you not just state that you wanted to go in and cash in your birth certificate at a bank?
No, I did not say that that was what I wanted to do. I did not say that. That was
then
my
I misunderstood.
of what he was saying.
Yeah,
he was saying,
She
you
was
can go to a
insinuating it and
window.
saying it at the same time, trying to.
I heard her say it too.
Okay, here, let me tell you. You go down and you get a window sticker from the car. You take a copy of your birth certificate. You do an endorsement for the release of the credits from your payment bond on that birth certificate. You basically take that up to the IRS and give it to them, to that technical support division. You make sure that it's going to the technical support division per the Treasury UCC contract trust. They will turn around and they will contact that dealership and release that car to you. Now, did I tell you how to get a car? Yes.
Yes, you just
Are you gonna
did.
do it? No,
Very
you're not.
much.
You're not going to listen. It's that damn simple.
Yes, you explained it to me just now, and I thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had to fucking think for you. Because you aren't capable of thinking your own self. I don't know how you graduated from high school, if you even did.
Patrick, I appreciate this is your call and what you're doing.
Huh?
I said I appreciate this is your call and what you're doing. I'm trying to transcribe this to send out for you guys, but really all this other stuff is really keeping everybody, their mind off track. It's like almost like when the infiltrators come in and do a diversion, frankly. And I think
you an infiltrator?
No, I am not. And it would really help if to just
transcribe the first hour and leave it at that.
Well,
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Praying's way in the sand. Always praying.
Right.
Praying.
Yeah. I mean, basically, if people, you've got to be able to think. I told you, you're the creator. You think outside the box.
I know, but you don't have to keep spitting on women all the time. We the ones that have been on the call.
I do.
All right, all the women on the call, do you get where he's coming from? Does he have to keep saying it? Can I get a vote?
Okay, you don't have the right to vote. In the non-UCC world, in this country, you do not have the right to vote. You're supposed to be standing as a family. It was a family vote.
Amen.
Okay? That's what the damn law really was set up for, was for the family. And basically, women's lib in this country, and the same thing in the church. Women's lib in the church back in the 1200s when they brought in the Virgin Mary into the damn picture to be a co-redemptress with Jesus when Virgin Mary didn't do shit.
Amen. Jesus a lot of work to do.
And whether you know it or not,
I probably should have just used the word input. Could I possibly get some input from the other women? Is it necessary? Do we need
it
to
is,
hear it
because
again?
you women have to understand that you are supposed to be out here. You're supposed to be the protected species by a man.
Well, there has to be men
Go
out there
watch
to
the
do
birds
it.
and the bees.
You know what? That has to be the first thing. There has to be some real men out there to be doing it. So let's start with that and then go forward. But
right.
for now,
so go out there and watch some of the Hallmark movies and see how to find a real man.
Yeah. Wow.
If you don't have one. Thank you, wife.
Good. There's a lot of good information, basically about love and everything in the Hallmark movies.
And patience.
Amen.
And there's a lot of shithead men in those damn movies, too.
Amen.
And you have to weed out the shithead men and get to the real one.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question I want to ask. Has anybody on this call been using the bills of credit? Has that been working for you?
We're
We just brought this up just here recently. I mean, how fast do you want this thing to work?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know how old or how recent. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm the only one that basically talked about these things as being bills of credit. Go in there and check out all these other talk shows and everything for the last 40 years and see if anybody ever mentioned anything about bills of credit. They never looked at it because basically it said in Article, in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, no state shall issue a bill of credit. So basically right there, they said, well, no state can issue that, so basically we're not going to deal with bills of credit. But yet they didn't realize that if you read Section 10, these UCC foreign bankers and all these UCC corporations out here are in total violation of that. They're issuing bills of attainder, throwing people into jail. They're issuing titles of nobility. They are not giving you the remedy to set off the charges. They're not telling you that basically you can set this off. All you have to do is endorse this. They are totally in violation of the Article 1, Section 10. Therefore, it intuitively becomes very obvious that these are a foreign state government. They are the ones that are causing the insurrection of the country by violating the Constitution. They're not operating under the Constitution. So don't try and go into court and argue the Constitution. You come in and basically that you have to have your non-UCC standing to have your constitutional protections. Then they can't touch you. That is your expatriation away from them.
Okay,
When
Patrick.
So it might be another 30 days or so and some experimenting by the people in the group to find out if this is working for them.
It could be. Somebody could get something back in the next couple days. It's hard to say.
Find out
on the bill of credit. Okay?
Find out by doing it.
Patrick, can I
That's
say
the only way you're going to do. That's what this whole group thing was about. It was supposed to be a group effort, not Patrick go out and do every fucking thing for you and then come back and tell you, oh, this worked. No.
And then include thinking, too.
Well, let me tell you, I have one that's written out already. I was just curious to know if anybody, I was curious to know if anybody in the group had done it yet. So.
Yes, I have.
Have you had a response yet?
Yes, I put the endorsement at the bottom of a bill that I got from an attorney. He called me up on Monday, and he wanted to know what that was. And I said, you figure it out for yourself. And he hung up the phone. He said that was a smart-ass answer, and he hung up the phone.
Right.
So that's been my experience so far.
Thank you.
He knew what it was.
Yeah, they're going to play dumb with you because they just want to try and mess with you because they are born liars. And basically, you really owe no bill to an attorney. You either owe a bill to a corporation, but you owe no bills to any attorney, any bar association. They're a third-party interloper. You don't have a contract with a third-party debt collector. You go back to the original contract that you have. You call them up and say, I want a bill from you for settlement if there's still a bill out on the books. If they don't send you a bill, then there's no bill. They've already settled it. Same thing with the mortgage company. Most of these mortgage companies, they have the bill paid for at the end of 3 years. They turn around and try and recontract that over to another bank. You go back after the original bank and say, hey, I want a bill of settlement. You can't sell that contract. I was the owner of that contract. I didn't give you permission to sell that contract. What is this about bringing another contractor in on the contract that I had with you? You file a 3949A against them, against the contractor. You let the CID, the Contractor Investigative Division, go after them. See, I can think outside the box. That's what I've been trying to get you people to start doing. Talk this stuff over. Start thinking for yourselves. I know you're not as dumb as basically some of you people let on to be.
I don't think it's so much as dumb as the belief systems that we've attached ourselves, the false belief systems that we've attached ourselves to. And now we're learning truth, and it's hard for some people to come to terms with that.
Yeah, you've got to wake up one morning and say, hey, I've been wrong. I'm going to go this other direction.
That's funny. I love it when I'm wrong, Patrick, because it allows me an opportunity to correct myself.
Yeah, the hardest person, basically in the New Testament, they talk about forgiving, is yourself.
Amen.
You have to be able to admit that you were wrong.
Amen.
And then correct yourself in the process. That's one of the other things that's brought out quite a bit in some of these Hallmark movies.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
That's a question.
Go ahead.
This is Bati from Chicago. I'm new to the call, and I want to make sure that I understand that a birth certificate is needed with the bill of credit to the IRS support division.
It all depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
When you're terminating the contract trust, yes, you're going to have a certified copy from the state or the county, a certified certificate of live birth from the state or from the county. When you terminate and have that certificate of live birth, UCC contract trust terminated. It's a UCC contract trust.
Okay. And does that make me a secure party?
No, you're the owner.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, see, basically on the UCC, that basically the non-UCC that I put out there, we are going to become the bailee in the process. Our fictional person is going to bail everything over to us. So he is the bailor. He is bailing out of the system and bailing everything over to us as the owner. But we are the bailee receiving it from him. That's what our non-UCC is. Then we turn around and we can turn around and have everything deposited per an IRS 926 form over into the de jure treasury of the country. Then we get a credit debiting card from the de jure treasury. We don't need anything else. We turn around and we get receipts from the store. We turn around and send those into the IRS Technical Support Division and say, here, deposit these refund credits into the Treasury.
Okay, now you mentioned something about endorsed payment or something. I didn't hear all of it.
Yes. Have you got the links for eConcurrent?
No, I'm new.
eConcurrent.com. Okay. The files are located in eConcurrent, concurrent, all one word, .com/Devine, DEVINE. And then there's a file section there and a audio section, a call section. You can go in and listen to all the calls. And basically, I've been talking my head off for years now, just on these calls. I think they go back to 2013 or something like that, because Tom hasn't removed all of them yet.
Yes, how far back do you want me to remove?
Go all the way back to the beginning and bring it up to about the last 2 months.
Okay, the last 2 months. I'll leave it okay.
Yeah, delete all the rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah, just leave the last months, leave the one for like the 98 explanation, but basically the examples are up there about going and calling and getting the 98 number.
Yep.
And then the file section, we've removed most of the files out of there, so there's only one folder of files there, folder 39.
Yes, but you and on Yahoo you left 3 other folders there, so I'll move them back if you want me to on eConcurrent.
Okay.
I'll do that too. Okay.
Now on We the People, I have extra. On We the People, I have a few extra files on it, and I left some of the information documents that I reference documents, Word documents, and stuff like that I pulled the definitions out. But basically, you guys take these documents that I put out here. You go and pull down a dictionary. Check out all the words until you understand every word in those letters that I've written. There was a reason I used most of those words.
Okay, can I get one last question? How do I get to the recorded call?
On econcurrent.com/Devine, and then that's the parent directory. And when you get there, there should be audios, calls, and then the files. Then you click on those, and they will open up a new window with the files. And then you might have to go into folder 39, but if you click on the calls are going to come up in the next window and have all the calls. You scroll all the way down to the bottom, and the latest calls are down at the bottom of that list. They're by date. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
With the birth certificate, can you use that to purchase a house?
Basically, you can go in, like I said, you do an endorsement. You basically get a bill of sale, or not a bill of sale, but basically you get the purchase agreement for the house. You take it in and basically put it into the IRS Technical Support Division. But basically, you'd be better off to go and get the damn debit card, get out of the system, get the debit card, take the debit card down there, and buy the house.
Okay.
Don't
Why
forget
try
to
and
turn in
make
the
something
receipt.
harder? You want out of the system, okay? Get out of the system first. Then go and buy your mansion. Don't hamstring yourself right now going out and buying something that basically you don't want anyway. Get out of the system. Then you can go wherever you want to.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't hear the part about getting out of the system to get the card. How do you do that?
To get the card?
Yeah.
When you endorse your certificate of live birth, when you take a copy of your Social Security card, if you've got a DD-214, you do the endorsement of that. I put 3 endorsements up there for a man. Okay? Most women weren't supposed to be in the military anyway, but if they do have a DD-214, basically they can put that in there because basically the government Defense Department has been using they got under a contract, so basically they put credits into the system. So they have a contract there, a UCC contract trust also. See, even some of these people that basically got out and basically got out early didn't get a full DD-214, but they have another military discharge, honorable discharge document. There was a UCC contract trust set up for that. I don't know whether you're on the line, Bill, but basically I'm addressing you.
Okay.
Think about these things. Everything you have basically done was under a contract. You're the owner. You have taken a deck of 52 cards, taken 3 cards, and started building little teepees out here, trying to build a mansion of teepee houses. And these are the UCC contract trusts that you have built, some upon layer upon layer. The Secret Service basically is over the Enterprise Financial Management System. That means they are over all of these UCC contract trusts. They are also over all of the contractors' investigation division. They can investigate any contractor. That's what the Enterprise Financial Management System is all about, that the Secret Service is over. The subdivisions are the UCC Contract Trust and the CID. And you won't hear this from anybody else out there. Okay, anybody else have a question? Okay, call tonight, Tom. Tom.
Hey, Patrick, I wanted to thank you for your contribution, what you're doing for mankind. I appreciate it.
Well, basically, I was on my own quest, and basically, I'm willing to share my quest information with everybody else out here. Okay? I'm not a hoarder of basically what should be given freely. Okay?
That's one of the reasons why I'm still here, Patrick, and I have the exact same feeling that you just described right there. I don't think you ought to be paying for this information. This should be given freely.
From the Father.
Okay? We don't own it.
We do own it.
I mean, not the information where the information comes from.
Oh, no, you can't copyright information because, like I said, all of this stuff has been done hundreds of times over. It's all recorded in the Bible, numerous times. The stories out here, these movies and everything else, they're all paid for. They're under a UCC contract. They've been paid for. So that information is free information. You can't copyright something that basically doesn't belong to anybody in that regards under the UCC system. When you stand in the non-UCC capacity, you're the owner. The only ones that get in trouble are the ones that stay in the UCC system, and basically they're going to go down. Okay? Call tonight, Tom. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Patrick.